My friend, let me share something that many people only understand when it's far too late. Most individuals invest time in strengthening their bodies. They develop their muscles. They perfect their techniques. Yet they leave their minds unprotected, open, and vulnerable. And when life strikes, not through a physical blow but through disappointment, rejection, loss, or fear, they crumble. Not because they are genuinely weak, but because they never discovered how to become strong where it truly matters. You see, the initial conflict is never external. The strikes you attempt, the movements you execute, the contests you enter, these merely reflect a deeper struggle. The genuine battlefield exists within the mind. It remains unseen, quiet, and relentless. And if you fail to control this battlefield, my friend, every obstacle in existence will overcome you before it even arrives. When I was a young child in Hong Kong, I engaged in combat almost daily. Some encounters I won, others I lost. Yet the most threatening adversary I ever encountered wasn't in the streets. It was the inner voice within my head, the one that flooded me with fear, uncertainty, and frustration. And I realized something essential. Mental weakness represents a decision, and mental strength does as well. Today, I want to present 11 principles that guided my existence. 11 concepts that if you adopt will render you unbreakable. These aren't notions from publications or theories from intellectuals. These represent insights earned through effort, suffering, quiet moments, and profound contemplation. Number 1, protect your thoughts. My friend, everything originates in the mind. Before you execute a strike, you conceive it. Before you succumb to worry, you envision it. Before you experience failure, you accept it internally. This explains why I consider the mind the primary battlefield, and many individuals enter it unprepared. A single harmful thought, I'm not prepared, I lack ability, what happens if I fail, can expand until it becomes a storm. Yet it remains just a thought, a slight whisper. But if you accept that whisper, it develops power. You must understand something crucial. You are separate from your thoughts. You are the individual who decides which ideas remain and which should depart. When I instructed fighters, I frequently predicted who would lose before the bout began, not due to inadequate technique, but because their expressions revealed self-doubt. They entered the ring already beaten by their own imagination. That represents the threat of an unguarded mind. In martial disciplines, if you leave your entrance open, anyone can enter, ally or adversary. The same applies to the mind. If you permit every concept to enter, you'll soon discover your internal space crowded with anxiety, indecision, and bewilderment. Therefore, safeguard your mind as you would a stronghold. Examine each thought. Regard it neutrally like a visitor. Question yourself, does this concept strengthen or weaken me? If it weakens you, let it go. If it fortifies you, hold it near. When you practice this, you start to recognize a wonderful reality. The mind becomes transparent, free, weightless. And through that transparency, you attain great power. The ability to select your thinking, your emotions, and your actions. That, my friend, marks the start of an unbreakable mind. Number 2, manage your feelings. Emotions function like fire. Properly controlled, fire provides warmth, prepares your meals, and illuminates your direction. But when fire becomes uncontrolled, it destroys everything in its path, including yourself. Most individuals live as captives of their feelings. Anger makes them erupt. Fear makes them withdraw. Sadness causes them to give up. Then they claim, I couldn't prevent it. That was simply how I felt. However, this isn't strength. This isn't liberty. This is mere reaction. A warrior doesn't operate through reaction. He functions through mental clarity. When someone confronts you physically, if you respond blindly through emotion, you lose command over distance, timing, and tactics. But when you maintain composure, you perceive everything, the position of their shoulder, the distribution of their weight, the purpose behind their action. This calmness doesn't imply you experience nothing. It indicates you experience, but aren't governed by what you feel. You view emotion like observing a cloud moving across the sky, temporary, shifting, transforming. While working in Hollywood, frustration frequently built inside me. People questioned my vision, challenged my methods, and opposed the concepts I introduced from Eastern traditions. My immediate instinct was rage, intense, strong, instant. But anger without restraint resembles a punch thrown in darkness. It connects with nothing and exhausts you. So I adopted the practice of pausing. Just one breath, just one silent moment before responding. Within that pause, you recover your perspective. Listen to me, my friend. Emotion lacking control creates disorder. Emotion combined with awareness produces power. Convert your feelings similarly to how a fighter converts energy. Transform frustration into resolve. Convert worry into bravery. Remember, your feelings aren't your opponents. They represent basic energy. You must structure them, direct them, and employ them purposefully. When you control emotion, you control yourself. And when you control yourself, nobody can diminish you. Number 3, self-discipline outweighs inspiration. My friend, many individuals wait for motivation. They wait for stimulation, for ideal circumstances, for some remarkable burst of energy that drives them into motion. But motivation resembles the wind. It arrives and departs at will. If you depend on the wind to move you, you'll drift without purpose. You understand, when I was younger, I practiced each day, not because I constantly desired to. No, some days my body hurt, my mind felt exhausted, or my spirits were low. But I made a commitment to myself, a promise more profound than convenience. I will be present. This represents discipline, the capacity to act regardless of your mood. If you wait to feel prepared, you'll wait permanently. If you wait to feel powerful, you'll remain powerless. If you wait to feel inspired, you'll produce nothing. A warrior doesn't live by mood, he lives by purpose. Consider a strike. When you practice it, you might feel excited, energized, or confident. Yet in actual combat, the strike must occur whether you feel positive or not. It must occur during exhaustion, doubt, and fear. That represents discipline, the capacity to function regardless of your condition. People frequently ask me, Bruce, how do you maintain motivation? I gently laugh because they misunderstand. I respond, I'm not motivated, I'm disciplined. Motivation visits temporarily. Discipline is my permanent residence. Discipline achieves something powerful. It teaches the mind who maintains authority. Each time you train while tired, each time you study while distracted, each time you work while uninspired, you shape a new identity. The identity of someone who doesn't break under pressure, someone who advances even when every part wants to quit, someone who cannot be controlled by weakness. This explains why discipline creates freedom, because when you can command yourself, nothing external holds influence. So my friend, select discipline. Decide once and respect that decision daily, not because it's simple, but because it determines who you become. Number 4, practice consistently. Identity forms through repetition. Let me share from personal experience. Many observers noticed the films, the quickness, the accuracy, and the confidence, but they didn't witness the hours, the years, and the repetition behind everything. Early mornings, late nights, sweat on the floor, notebooks filled with observations, pages torn and rewritten repeatedly. Identity doesn't form in a single instance. It develops through repetition. In martial arts, we rehearse fundamentals thousands of times, the jab, the cross, footwork, pivoting. Some students become impatient and ask, Bruce, why do we practice identical movements repeatedly? I smile because they don't yet understand. The objective of repetition isn't to learn the movement, but to become the movement. The mind learns identically. If daily you choose discipline, you become disciplined. If daily you choose bravery, you become brave. If daily you choose effort, you become unstoppable. Repetition serves as the sculptor of identity. There were mornings when I had little energy, when my body felt heavy, when my ideas felt scattered. Yet precisely on those mornings, when comfort whispered, relax, skip today, restart tomorrow, the genuine battle occurred. And when I trained regardless, when I wrote regardless, when I practiced regardless, that's where strength developed. Let me tell you something significant. Your activities teach your mind who you are. When you appear even when exhausted, you teach your mind, I am the type of individual who doesn't give up. When you practice fundamentals repeatedly, you teach your mind, I'm developing mastery. When you push through discomfort, you teach your mind, I'm in control, not my justifications. And the mind listens. It adapts. It reshapes according to your behavior. Daily practice isn't exclusively for the body, it's for the spirit. Reading, contemplating, self-observation, journaling, sitting quietly, these also represent training forms. They sharpen perception, increase understanding, and strengthen determination. Consider water dripping on stone. 1 drop means nothing. 10 drops mean nothing. But thousands, millions over time, the stone changes form. Your mind resembles the stone. Your discipline resembles the water. And repetition represents the force that shapes an updated version of yourself. Number 5, steadiness exceeds intensity. Many individuals believe greatness develops through intensity, through dramatic efforts. But my friend, let me reveal the reality. Intensity lacking steadiness is worthless. 1 day of ideal training means nothing if you disappear for a week. 1 burst of inspiration means nothing if you stop when enthusiasm fades. One powerful moment cannot substitute for consistent progress. When I developed Jeet Kune, I didn't achieve understanding through one brilliant idea. No, it emerged through continuous improvement, experimentation, failing, modifying, practicing daily over years. Consistency isn't glamorous, but it's transformative. People frequently say, I don't have time for an hour of training, so I'll train for 10 minutes. They claim, I cannot give full effort today. Then give partial effort, because even a small step preserves momentum. Even imperfect action reinforces your identity. Even 1% progress moves your mind forward. Remember this, you don't need to be perfect. You only need to show up. Being consistent establishes a foundation stronger than emotion, stronger than mood, stronger than doubt. Because each time you continue, you remind yourself that you aren't governed by resistance. You aren't practicing for simple days, my friend. Easy days require no strength. You're practicing for storms, for hardship, for sorrow, for unforeseen difficulties. These moments will arrive, and when they do, your consistency will already have readied you. It resembles conditioning your body. You don't wait until combat to develop endurance. You build it long before combat starts. Therefore, let me say, if today you can only give a small amount, give it. If today you can give plenty, give it, but always provide something. When you master consistency, you become trustworthy to yourself. And when you become trustworthy to yourself, you become unbreakable. Number 6, suffering serves as the teacher, the fire, the root. My friend, many individuals dread suffering. They flee from it, conceal from it, complain about it, condemn it. But let me share a truth I discovered through every injury, every setback, every letdown. Suffering isn't your adversary. Suffering is your instructor. Suffering is universal. Nobody avoids it. However, what separates the strong from the weak isn't who experiences hardship, but what they do with their hardship. Most individuals permit suffering to destroy them. A warrior permits suffering to develop them. When I injured my back in 1970, doctors informed me I might never participate in martial arts again. For many months, I couldn't train, couldn't kick, couldn't move as I once did. The physical pain was severe, but the spiritual pain was greater. During those challenging months, I faced two choices, break or develop. Instead of yielding to hopelessness, I studied, I wrote, I meditated. I questioned everything I believed. I refined my philosophy, expanded my understanding, sharpened my thinking. Gradually, I recognized something remarkable. Suffering serves as a mirror. It reveals your weaknesses. It shows what requires change. Suffering doesn't come to penalize you, it comes to educate you. When your muscles burn during training, they aren't failing. They're adapting. When your heart hurts after disappointment, you aren't broken. You're increasing your capacity. When you struggle with fear or doubt, you aren't lost. You're approaching new strength. You see, growth is never comfortable. Comfort resembles a cage. Suffering represents the key. Most people avoid suffering because they interpret it as a signal to stop. However, suffering frequently indicates you're on the right route, the path of development. The mind, like the body, strengthens through opposition. Let me offer a simple comparison. When you lift weight, your muscle fibers tear. Minor breaks occur. Yet because of that breaking, the muscle grows stronger, thicker, more capable. The mind works similarly. Difficult moments tear you so you can reconstruct yourself stronger. There are two approaches to experiencing suffering, as a cage or as fire. As a cage, you make justifications, you quit. You become a victim, you ask, why me? You resent life for testing you. This mindset maintains weakness. As fire, suffering becomes energy, fuel, a motivation for action. You proceed because it's difficult. You declare, I won't break. I will grow stronger. This mindset shapes warriors. Suffering represents the forge where identity melts down and reshapes. It's where fear and weakness burn away, leaving only the core. So, my friend, don't resent your suffering, don't escape from it. Approach it consciously. Ask it, what are you here to teach me? And when you rise from the fire, you won't remain the same. Number 7, value quiet and awareness. Most individuals exhaust their energy through continuous talking, explaining themselves, defending themselves, attempting to impress others. But from my perspective, genuine power doesn't announce itself. Genuine power observes. When I studied Wing Chun with my teacher Yip Man, he frequently advised me to calm my thinking. Don't simply watch the opponent, he said. Learn to perceive. A great difference exists. To watch means to look with your eyes. To perceive means to look with your awareness. Silence provides access to awareness. When the mind becomes quiet, everything intensifies: perception, instinct, timing, understanding. You start to recognize not just others' movements, but their intentions, their fears, their habits. Through silence, you gain advantage. Through talking, you surrender that advantage. Many times when introduced to new fighters, actors, or business people, they would talk continuously, boasting, explaining accomplishments, and I would simply pay attention. Within minutes, their words exposed their uncertainties, desires, and motives. Silence isn't empty, silence contains information. My friend, you don't need to prove yourself through many words. A single statement delivered from a centered mind holds more weight than thousands spoken from insecurity. Silence isn't weakness. Silence isn't submission. Silence represents choosing not to waste energy. A warrior speaks only when necessary. A warrior listens more than he talks. A warrior observes before acting. Consider water. When still, it reflects with perfect clarity, but when disturbed, the reflection becomes distorted. The mind operates similarly. In stillness, you perceive truth. In noise, everything blurs. This explains why I dedicate time to quiet reflection. Even during busy periods of filming and instruction, stillness enables me to return to my core. Let me emphasize something important. The quiet mind observes what the noisy mind overlooks. When entering a room, observe before speaking. When facing difficulty, breathe before acting. When emotion rises, sit quietly before responding. Observation provides control. Silence provides strategy. Stillness provides power. Most people fear silence because in silence they encounter themselves. Yet if you can learn to remain with yourself without interruption or noise, you'll discover deeper strength than anything physical training offers. The world teaches you to be loud. I teach you to be aware. The world teaches you to react. I teach you to observe. The world teaches you to fill every moment with speech. I teach you to listen to the space between moments. This, my friend, represents the warrior's approach, not solely about striking powerfully, but about perceiving clearly. Number 8, become like water, adapt or shatter. In martial arts, acting, teaching, and daily challenges, I discovered something. The rigid mind breaks, but the flexible mind endures. Water has no fixed shape, yet it conforms to any shape. Water appears soft, yet it can cut through stone. Water yields, but it never surrenders. Water adapts, but it never loses its essence. When I arrived in America, many people expected me to remain within certain boundaries. Bruce, teach only traditional kung fu. Bruce, don't change the forms. Bruce, don't challenge established methods. However, I perceived truth clearly. Any system refusing to adapt becomes obsolete. A martial artist who memorizes fixed patterns becomes predictable, and predictability leads to failure in combat. The same applies to life. If you cling to one identity, one method, one belief, one routine, when life changes, you collapse. Adaptation isn't weakness, it's intelligent strength. People misunderstand adaptation. They think it means surrendering or losing oneself. No, water never loses itself. When water enters a teapot, it becomes the teapot's shape yet remains water. When encountering obstacles, it doesn't resist stubbornly like rock. It flows around, over, or through. Life won't always proceed as planned. People won't act as expected. Situations will shift. Opportunities will change. Your path will twist. If you remain rigid, you'll break under pressure. But if you remain like water, you'll bend without losing your center. Consider combat. If you insist on one attack, one stance, one rhythm, a skilled opponent will anticipate, counter, and defeat you. But if you adapt and flow, they cannot catch you. You become untouchable. This inspired me to create Jeet Kune, not as a style but as living expression, using no way as way, having no limitation as limitation. This extends beyond martial arts. Adapt in your work, adapt in relationships, adapt in learning, adapt your dreams. The world changes, my friend, and those who refuse to change with it become stuck in their own stubbornness. Pride opposes adaptation. Humility opens growth. Be willing to learn, be willing to adjust, be willing to view things differently. When encountering resistance, don't force against it until you break. Become like water, patient, flowing, persistent. Water always discovers a path. Remember this, when you adapt, you don't become less of yourself. You become more capable of expressing your true nature. That represents water's power. That represents your inner power. Number 9, eliminate excuses. My friend, excuses act as poison. They're comfortable, convincing, and soothing, yet they're fatal to growth. Each time you say, I'm too tired, I lack time, I'll begin tomorrow, I wasn't born talented, someone else is luckier, you place another chain around your own mind. The tragedy is that these chains aren't created by life, they're created by you. Excuses protect your ego but destroy your potential. When training students, I could always identify who would improve and who would remain weak. not from their techniques but from their excuses. One excuse becomes two, two become 10. Soon the person becomes trapped, blaming circumstances for a cage they built themselves. Let me share something personal. When developing my art, filming, writing, supporting my family, I had every available excuse. My body was tired. Pressures were heavy, rejections were numerous. Some days fear whispered loudly and doubt stood at my door, yet excuses never entered my home, not because I was superhuman, but because I understood their cost. Excuses remove your power. Excuses weaken your identity. Excuses trick you into believing you're smaller than you truly are. Many people misuse time as an excuse. They say, I don't have time. But time isn't the issue, priority is. If something truly matters, you'll find minutes. If it doesn't matter, you'll find excuses. Others say, I'm not naturally talented. My friend, talent resembles a seed. Discipline provides sunlight. Work provides water. Without those, even the best seed dies. Some say, I'm afraid. Fear isn't a reason to stop. It's a signal to start. The truth is simple. You'll never become strong if you keep negotiating with your own weakness. When your mind hears you say, I can't, it believes you. When it hears, I will, even when uncertain, it strengthens. Your language shapes your identity. Replace I can't with I will learn. Replace I don't have time with I will make time. Replace I'm not ready with I will begin and grow along the way. Replace I'm afraid with I will move forward anyway. Eliminate every excuse the moment it appears. Don't give it space. Don't let it take root. Excuses aren't external enemies. They come from the part of you seeking comfort, safety, predictability. But that part isn't the warrior, that part is the prisoner. Which one you feed determines who you become. If you want freedom, destroy excuses with action. If you want strength, refuse to negotiate with weakness. If you want transformation, stop telling stories that justify stagnation. The moment you eliminate excuses, you reclaim your power. Number 10, move toward fear. My friend, if one rule separates the strong from the weak, it's this: move toward fear. People believe courage means absence of fear, but that's incorrect. If you feel no fear, you aren't courageous, you're unaware. Courage emerges when fear exists and you proceed anyway. When I first opened my martial arts schools in America, I encountered significant opposition. Many said, Bruce, you cannot teach Chinese martial arts to non-Chinese students. Others claimed my methods were too unconventional, too fast, too free. Some directly challenged me, hoping to intimidate me into silence. I won't deceive you, I felt fear, not fear of failure, but fear of stagnation, fear of becoming trapped within others' limitations, fear of living a smaller life than what existed in my heart. Fear, my friend, isn't a wall, it's a mirror. It shows exactly where you need to grow. Most people flee from fear thinking they escape it. But each time you run, fear grows stronger. Each time you avoid difficult conversations, new opportunities, unknown paths, fear develops power, it becomes your master. Yet when you step toward fear, even with trembling legs, even with uncertainty, something remarkable occurs. Fear diminishes, fear feeds on avoidance, fear starves when confronted. When facing fear, you discover it was never as large as your imagination made it. The mind exaggerates, the mind dramatizes. The mind creates shadows larger than the objects casting them. Let me share something deeply personal. Throughout my acting career, many producers doubted me due to my background, accent, and philosophy. Each time I entered a new set, I felt the weight of expectations and questioning eyes. Instead of withdrawing, I accepted it. I moved toward the challenge. Through this, I discovered a deeper reality. Your potential exists on the opposite side of fear. Learn to use fear as a compass. If something frightens you, examine it closely. It often matters. If something intimidates you, study it. It often contains your growth. Fear isn't here to stop you, fear guides you. So next time fear whispers, not yet, you respond, no, now. Because the warrior doesn't wait for perfect conditions, the warrior steps forward and creates them. Number 11, guard your concentration from external opinions and follow your own direction. If you permit the world to direct your path, you'll never discover your own route. If you permit critics to establish your boundaries, you'll never understand your genuine strength. My friend, people will always talk. They'll judge, doubt, gossip, misunderstand, criticize, not because they understand you, but because they don't understand themselves. When I followed my personal vision of martial arts, many traditionalists became angry. They claimed I disrespected ancient styles, broke tradition, dishonored past masters, yet they didn't see what I perceived, that tradition must evolve or it becomes a cage. If I had listened to them, Jeet Kune wouldn't exist. No films demonstrating authentic combat philosophy would exist. No expression of martial arts grounded in freedom would exist. Opinions resemble shadows. They follow you but aren't part of you. Don't waste your life attempting to explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Don't reduce your dreams to match others' expectations. Don't seek approval from those who fear their own potential. Many times, even those close to you will doubt your path. That's not their fault. They can only view life through their own limitations. It's not their responsibility to believe in you. Belief is your responsibility. Protect your focus as a warrior protects their stance, with attention, intention, and strength, because whatever you concentrate on becomes your direction, and whatever becomes your direction becomes your destiny. You aren't here to impress others, you're here to express yourself completely. You aren't here to win applause, you're here to follow the path only you can follow. Let silence respond to critics. Let action answer doubters. Let results communicate your truth. A focused mind is a powerful mind. A distracted mind is a defeated mind. Choose your focus carefully and protect it fiercely. Life doesn't request perfection, it requests awareness. Awareness of your habits, awareness of your reactions, awareness of how you shape your own destiny daily. The world will test you, challenge you, push you, and occasionally break your heart. Yet if your mind is trained, if your spirit remains steady, you'll rise repeatedly, stronger each time. Don't view these principles as permanent rules carved in stone. View them as tools, instruments for self-discovery, pathways to your highest potential. Use them, improve them, adapt them, make them your own. Because the genuine purpose of this journey isn't to imitate me, it's to discover yourself. Whatever you face ahead, doubt, fear, pain, resistance, remember you aren't powerless. You carry within you the greatest weapon any human can possess, a mind refusing to collapse. So step forward, follow your path with purpose, remain faithful to your development, and when difficulties emerge, don't shrink. Confront them with presence, discipline, and courage.